Hey, what is going on, guys? Tobin Shore here of Heroes Financial Group, and welcome back to the channel. Now in this video, I want you to ask yourself one very important question. What are you doing to ensure that your money is continuing to compound and grow, right? And making sure that you're having your money work for you in whatever investment vehicles you have. Now with all the crazy stuff happening with the stock market, even the real estate bubble that we're in right now, and with COVID and people's health, okay? In this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 gotchas of money and what you need to be more aware of and look out for in order to ensure that you keep more of what you're earning and what you have right now so you don't find yourself in financial distress. So first, I want to put out the disclaimer out there that I am not a registered financial advisor, nor am I giving you financial advice with any of my videos. Right? This video is for education and entertainment purposes only, so take from it what you will. All right, so why do I want to put these videos out there? Is because I want to provide financial education and improve as many people's financial literacy as much as possible. All right, so if you haven't yet, please go like the Facebook page, Heroes Financial Group, give it a thumbs up, and if this is your first time stopping by the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and also giving that thumbs up button some love. Now, what do I want to do with these? Right? What is my main goal of putting out these videos? Okay, I want to help people avoid the pitfalls of life, really, right? And especially in terms of finances, because hey, money plays a big role in our lives. You know, whether you want to believe that or not, right? You need money for just about everything in this world and what we have, right? And even if we didn't have currency, obviously you need to have something to be able to, if we were going back to bartering days, right? You need to have those things. Okay, so that still is finances right there. You know, how many cows do you need to trade for a freaking elephant or whatever it may be, right? So, right, I want to be able to help you avoid the ups and downs, like the pitfalls of the ups and downs of the stock market, right? Maybe even the real estate market. And again, really just life. You know, there's a lot of things to think about because life happens for a lot of people. Okay, whether it be your health, you know, your family's health, a new family member, you know, being born, right? Those all affect your finances. So you want to be able to think about, you know, what's going to affect your financial plans, your financial future, right? And that's what the 5 gotchas of money are going to be all about. So the first gotcha of money that you always want to be aware of and avoid, right, is losses. Okay, you want to avoid those losses, that L word, right? Nobody wants to be a loser, right? So Warren Buffett, probably the most successful investor that just about everyone should know of, okay? He has 2 rules for investing. 2 rules, that's it. What's the rule number 1? Never lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. Simple, right? So, you never want to be a loser when it comes to putting your money at work and investing, okay? So, what is it, you know, what you have financial advisors, okay? A lot of people aren't doing their own research. A lot of people aren't reading the books or not even watching the videos or listening to audiobooks on financial literacy, right? They just want to go ahead and listen to somebody, like maybe even somebody like me, right? Or their financial advisor, or maybe even somebody that's none of those, right? Not even licensed or not licensed or registered or not educated in any way about finances, really. Okay, but it's just putting their money, you know, in speculative investments, right? They're telling you, you know, go put your money here in Bitcoin, go put your money in GameStop, right? You know, if you want to look at GameStop, I'm gonna have that picture up here somewhere, right? What it is now, what it did, right? All that stuff. Go put your money in real estate. Go put your money into, I don't know, this crowdfunding thing, whatever. Okay. The one thing you always want to ask whoever this person is, whoever is telling you to put your money in a certain place, right? Can I avoid losses? Okay? Can I avoid losses? Right? How do I avoid them? right? Because hey, when you have a loss in, say, if you have $100,000 and you put it into the market, right? The 401k, IRA, again, whatever your investment vehicle is, right? You put $100,000 in there. If you lose 10%, right, you're what 90,000. Now a lot of people think, okay, that's easy. I just have to gain 10% again, right? The next year. No, right? What's 10% of 90,000? That's 9,000. So now you are at 99,000. You haven't even made back the money that you lost yet, that you originally had yet. So you need 12% in order to get back to where you originally were. Right? Simple math right there, okay? Now, what's the more important thing that you're actually losing, right? This is our most valuable currency that a lot of people take for granted, right? You are losing, more importantly, you are losing time, okay? You're losing that time that you had, that you could have had that money, again, working for you where it didn't have any losses and it could have just been going up and up and up and up, right? So no matter what sort of return you're getting in any investment vehicle, in any sort of retirement plan, whatever you've got your money in, you want to avoid the pitfalls of losing money and dropping down and down, 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 right? You always want to be making sure that you're coming up. And if you're not coming up, then, maybe at least level out. But you want to make sure, again, you're avoiding those losses, all right? The second gotcha of money. So the first one was losses. The second one is healthcare, okay? More specifically, the change in your health and the associated expenses with that, right? So a lot of people tend to ignore, avoid, neglect anything having to do with their health and think, I'm young, I'm good, I don't need to go to a doctor, I don't need to go to hospital, I don't need to get a regular checkup, whatever, or I have health insurance, right? That's good and all, but hey, health insurance doesn't cover everything, right? For one. So you need to have some money saved up, cash available, you have another bucket of money to pay for those expenses that health insurance isn't going to pay for, right? I mean, it's going to cover whatever you have for your medical bills, right, that you accrued in the hospital, for most of it, right? But there's a lot of other associated bills and expenses that it will not cover, especially if you've had a critical injury, a critical illness or disorder, something that happened, right? Stroke, heart attack, cancer, whatever disability you may have that's going to keep you from working. It's going to keep you from being able to provide and bring in an income for you and or your family, right? So what's going to be able to cover that, okay? Because you're still going to have rent, mortgage, your gas. What's going to pay for the lights? And what's going to pay for your water? What's going to pay for your groceries, right? Or even, not to mention your children's education. If you're, depending on how long it's going to take for you to recover, right? What do you have coming in now that's going to be providing and paying for your regular budgeted expenses, okay? So, quick story here, right? Just a little bit ago, I actually had an older gentleman. He was a Marine veteran. He was going door to door asking for donations. Okay, what are these donations for? He's asking for donations for his cancer treatments. All right, he was having another treatment in a few days, and he needed a few $100 more, right? Going door to door doing that. Okay. Now, what could have he had to avoid? What could have he had that could have helped him avoid having to go do something like that? Okay, and also keep him from getting in the hole and being in debt. Now, after I gave him a donation, I went outside with him and discussed with him, right, if he'd ever heard of life insurance and the living benefits, okay, or if anyone had ever talked to him about it before, because he was actually just diagnosed a little over 6 months ago, right, and he really hadn't. Okay, imagine if someone like me had reached him beforehand and discussed the benefits of life insurance before he got it. Who knows? Maybe he would have taken the coverage and now he would have been fine. He would have had possibly a multi-six-figure check coming in, right? Because he could have had a living benefits, right? With the proper product and properly structured insurance with living benefits to help cover all of his other expenses. And expenses, maybe, I don't know if he had health insurance or not, right? So he could have been covering anything else that he needed, right, financially. Okay. A few other things, right? I mean, we've got several people that there's a lot of people out there that think, hey, there's such a low chance of getting this cancer, this happening to people, being in a car accident, right? Having this sickness, there's such a low chance. Why? What about you just put your money all in the stock market? Okay. Okay, for one, you're risking that there, and then you're also taking the risk and thinking that you're invincible. No one is invincible, and no one knows what's in the future for them, right? So you need to be properly prepared and properly insured in order to account for those unexpected worst case scenarios and disasters associated with your health, right? No one ever wants to be part of that statistic, but again, you just never know, right? So why not make sure you're prepared and be insured, right? For one, having that proper health insurance, okay? And then two, having the proper life insurance with living benefits to cover all those other expenses that you can accrue while you're recovering, right? Because when you think about it, depending on whatever your situation is and whatever sort of injury or illness that you incur, right? Whatever happens to you, you just never know how long it's going to take for you to recover, right? And if you're unable to work, and let alone if your loved one, a spouse, has to take time off of their work, right, in order to come take care of you, right? How are they going to provide for themselves, right? So you need to make sure you have this insurance, okay, to avoid that pitfall, right? With healthcare. Again, you never ever want to underestimate that, right? A lot of people this past year went bankrupt and filed for bankruptcy just because of due to healthcare expenses, right? Getting COVID, not being able to work, not being able to go back to work, okay, and then bills after bills after bills coming and piling up, right? Not even just from the medical expenses, just from, again, not being able to work, having to drain their bank accounts, their savings, their checking, their money market, their retirement accounts in order to pay for their regular monthly bills, right? So healthcare, definitely want to avoid that gotcha. So the third gotcha of money that you want to avoid, make sure that you are not being hit by, right? That you're not getting yourself into, okay? And a lot of people tend to just ignore it again and throw money at it, right? Give their money away to it, okay? And if you want to give some money away, you can go ahead and give it to me. I'll set up a GoFundMe, whatever, some sort of donation page for me, right? Just go ahead and do that, and I'll be able to just continue to put out some awesome videos for you guys. But taxation, right? That's the third gotcha of money. Taxation. Now, with Biden being the president, what did he say he was going to do? Okay, he was going to raise taxes. All right, raise taxes for the people that are making over 400 grand annually. Okay, and what else was he going to do, right? That's great. He's going to raise taxes for some of the more wealthy individuals and families there, but what else was he going to do? He's going to get rid of the Trump tax cuts. Right? So what does that mean for the middle class, right? Middle and lower class, the working class, people like you and me, right? That just means that our taxes are going to go up as well, right? So really, we're not really winning there, right? We're going to have to pay more in income tax yet still, right? And historically, we've been in one of the lowest tax rates, historically, right? And now with Biden promising to get, student loans forgiven, paid off by the government, and with all the stimulus checks that are being given out, right, and unemployment, with healthcare being paid for by the government, where do you think taxes are going to go? Do you think they're going to go down? Do you think they're going to stay the same? Or do you think in the future, the very near future, they're going to go up higher? Right? What's been the trend with that? Okay, put that in the comments, right? I mean, I would bet that a lot of people, you, right, you, your family and friends, And a whole lot of other people are betting that taxes are going to go up, right? They're going to be going up, okay? So what does that mean for you, your financial future, and your retirement plans that you have, right? And a lot of people have only had maybe like an IRA or 401k set up, right? So tax deferred plans, qualified for the government, right? What is going to happen when you start taking your distributions out from those tax deferred plans, right? It was tax deferred, so you didn't pay those taxes as it grew, right? And hopefully it grew, and hopefully those losses were avoided, okay? What's going to happen now that you start pulling those out and you're at a higher tax rate? Okay, you're going to get whacked, right? Whacked. Uncle Sam is going to come in, he's going to say, you know what? Give me that money, right? Give me all those taxes you haven't paid me yet. All right, so Uncle Sam's going to come and collect, right? And he's probably going to collect more than you thought you ever were going to have to give up, right? Because, hey, again, a lot of people think, right, oh, you know what? I'm not going to have, in my older years when I'm 60, I'm not going to have a mortgage to pay off. I'm going to be going out less. I'm not going to have any of my kids that are dependent on me that I have to pay for, all right? Whatever it may be. I'm going to be eating less, whatever, right? But again, you're not taking into account, right? A lot of people just aren't planning and taking into account the other expenses they're going to have. For one, they're going to have more taxes, very likely, because, hey, now you don't have any dependents you can write off, deduct, take credits for. You're not going to have a mortgage. You're not going to have that interest, right? And also, you are very, very, very highly likely to be spending more on your, what was it? The second gotcha of money? Your health care, right? I mean, would you not agree that in our older years, we are very much more likely to become sick and ill, right? Or even fall and hurt ourselves and become hurt and unable to walk ourselves and need to go to the emergency room or whatever, right? So healthcare, and then that again is going to take you back up to the gotcha of money number one, losses, right? So it all kind of comes back full circle, and you're going to see that as we continue on, right? So taxation, you want to avoid, right, taxation, and there's definitely better strategies out there that you can take advantage of and have tax advantaged investment vehicles or tax free investment vehicles and policies so that you can once again avoid these gotchas of money and keep more for yourself and your family. All right, guys, so the fourth gotcha of money, okay? We're almost there. We're almost at the fifth one, right? We got 5, we're on the 4th, right? Now, this is a silent killer of money that, once again, a lot of people just aren't preparing for, a lot of people aren't thinking about, and is ignoring, not talking about, whatever it may be. Okay, the 4th gotcha is inflation, right? Inflation. Okay, what's inflation? So inflation is when the cost of living is basically going up. Your money is buying a lot less than it used to, right? That's what inflation is. So the value of a dollar is lower, right? Now, when you compare and think about 1990, right, back in those days, and to now, what were the costs of living? Okay, the cost of a house, the cost of a car, the cost of your groceries, the cost of water, the cost of gas, the cost of a movie ticket, right? They were a lot lower back then. Okay, and fast forward to today, right, in the most recent years, prices for everything have gone up like 300%, right? It's freaking crazy, right? Your money is buying less today than it did back then, years ago, right? Your money is able to buy less. Now, how do you fight this? It's a lot more complicated than just simply, putting more money in the bank. I'm going to put an extra $100 here in my savings account. I'm going to put an extra $100, $200 in my retirement account. Okay, it's a lot more than that. All right, so think about it. say for instance, you're putting your money in a bank, okay? What do you earn when you're just putting money and leaving it in a savings account? Okay, maybe 1% if you're lucky. Some banks maybe even 2%, right? But let's just say 1. And that's really rounding up and being conservative and saying, that's freaking awesome, right? Because really, a lot of banks aren't giving anywhere near 1%, right? But so the rule of 72 is how you can determine how long it's going to take for your money to double, right? So if you take 72, divide that by 1%, what does that give you? 72 years, right? You fired up about it taking 72 years for your $1,000 in the bank to double to 2,000, right? Now let's just say you did have a bank account that was giving you 2%, right? 2%, 72 divided by 2, 36 years, right? That's better, definitely better, but hey, 36 years to go from 1,000 to 2,000, right? Whatever the number is that a good thing? Will you still be around for that? All right, don't you want to finally use that money? Okay, so again, you have to think about inflation. Now, let me ask you this. Ask yourself this question. Okay, do you want to work the rest of your life, or would you rather retire earlier, right, rather than later in life? And would you rather have a bunch of money to spend when you're younger, whether that be on yourself or your family, or maybe even just giving it out? Would you rather be able to do that? In order to do that, you need to be able to think about these things. So you need to think about inflation, okay, taxation, healthcare, and losses. You need to avoid all of these things, right, so that your financial future is safe, secure, and you are going to be prepared, and you're going to have the best, whatever, retirement that you can possibly have. All right, guys, so the fifth gotcha of money, the last one here, right? So a lot of people don't realize they are spending a lot of time here, right? They either don't realize it or they know it, but they're just kind of avoiding and ignoring that they are there, and that's what they're doing. Right? So the fifth gotcha of money is procrastination, right? When it comes to your finances, you always want to be proactive, not procrastinate. All right? So a lot of people tend to think, before I start saving and investing my money, I'm going to need to make sure everything else is good and set, my bills are paid. Of course, you need to go do that, make sure your bills are paid. But then they're going and taking care of things that really aren't urgent, more for their entertainment, more for their aesthetics or something like that. You need to really get rid of unnecessary expenses so that you can start saving more and investing more and making sure that your money is going to work for you, right? You need to stop making everyone else rich and wealthy. You need to get yourself rich and wealthy, right? So get the ball rolling, right? Get the snowball, get the cash flowing so that you can live the life that you want, okay? You can be retired earlier rather than later, and you can have more time to spend with your family and friends, or even give more to charities, whatever you want to do, right? Because, hey, when you're procrastinating, what are you losing? What is the most important and valuable currency that we have, right? Once again, that's time, right? You don't want to lose a lot of time. Okay, so when was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago, right? Now, when is the second best time to do that? That's right now. So go ahead and start planting your seeds. Okay, start saving and investing and making that money work for you, really taking advantage of that compound effect, and so you can be financially secure, right? You can have the best retirement that you can possibly have. So whenever you're talking to your financial advisor, a consultant, a planner, whoever it may be that you're trusting to help you manage and take advice from with regards to your finances, make sure you're having these in-depth conversations with regards to them, right? Hey, how can I avoid losses? How can I make sure that my healthcare expenses for me and my family are taken care of today and in the future? And how can I make sure that I avoid as much taxation and inflation and be prepared for those, right, in the future? All right, so I hope you guys took value from this video and you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button, and leave a comment with what you liked, what you didn't like. Leave any thoughts that you have, any topics you may want me to cover or discuss more in detail. All right? So I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.